Hi, YouTube friends and family. It's Crystal here checking in with you today. So today I just want to talk about grooming. Grooming is very important to me because I believe that if you know that you're covert narc slash sociopath in the grooming phase, what their intent is, what they're acting upon, then you're more informed in that sense, and it's a little bit easier for you to avoid that situation. So today that's what I'm mainly going to talk about. I do want to disclose again, that I in no way claim to be an expert of any kind, of any sort. I am not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, and I don't presume to know everything. I'm simply sharing my experiences because I want to help empower women and make them aware of these types of men that are out there and that can actually be out there amongst us. And if we're not aware, then how are we to know? How are we to be armed and possibly even prevent that from happening to us? So that's the reason for my, speaking up. In the grooming phase, you'll find that your sociopath covert narc can even reach out to you years before. My sociopath narc reached out to me in 2009 when I worked with him at a local hospital. And I hadn't seen him or interacted with him thereafter until 2014 when he sought me out on Facebook. One of the things that I want to make very clear is Facebook is a potential target ground for your sociopath type narcissist person, covert narcissist especially, because it allows them to mask a lot of things. So it enables them, basically, in an essence. And it's kind of like a playground for them. A lot of other experts have quoted that Facebook can be very beneficial to them. And the reason why I point that out is because I used to always be very passionate about my Facebook feed. And I used to post, I would only like things that pertain to my personality, who I am, what makes me who I am. And my covert narc sociopath actually mocked that at one given time without me even knowing, and told me that he had studied me on Facebook. And so he pretty much had an idea as to what kind of individual he was dealing with at that time. So that's an example. So what I advise you guys to do instead, utilize Facebook the way they see Facebook. My covert narc sociopath always said he looked at it as fake book. Okay, take it in that, try and look at it from that perspective and see the difference in maybe the types of men that are reaching out to you. If I get a lot of people reaching out to me on Facebook. I do post a lot of things, but the minute that I'm active, it seems like I start getting a lot of activity within my message box. So that's why I am giving that tip, is to go ahead and arm yourself and be cautious of what you're posting. Now I'm so conscientious, all I ever post is about funny stuff, or, I'm always on the up and up, like life is so ha ha ha, so grandiose and so funny. When, yeah, I suffer, I hurt like everybody else. I was just crying about 15 minutes ago over my younger brother that passed away earlier this year. This is my first holiday season without him, and it's not going to be easy in any form or fashion. So I'm having a really hard time right now. But anyway, so I always try to perceive myself now that I'm conscientious of that as if I've got it down cold turkey. I know what I'm doing, yada, yada, yada. My life is grand. Ha ha ha. Okay, my life is great, whatever. My life is great, thank God, but I don't laugh that much. And I hope and pray to God the world of Facebook thinks that I do. I really don't care anymore because I'm considering it fake book. Get my drift? The other thing in the grooming that's very, in the grooming phase with the covert narcissist and sociopath, that's very, it can be alarming when they disclose, is any time that your covert narc or the person that you're dating / sociopath states in any way that they've studied you. take that as a red flag and try and get the heck out of Dodge and run as fast as you can. Don't run, don't walk fast, run. The reason why is because they utilize all that information they've attained about you as a good person, and they basically, in an essence, turn it around on you in a sense that they're going to utilize all that information to benefit them. So they're going to act the way you would want another person to act. They're going to mimic good behaviors that you find suitable because you're a good person. They're going to start practicing moralistic values and standards and principles. My covert narc sociopath would come over to my home and he would just be on cloud 11, and he's like, I'm such a better person when I'm with you, and I'm so likable and lovable, and everybody wants me. Everybody loves being around me. It's because of you. It's because of what you've done for me. Please, whatever. Nobody can stand him is ultimately the reason why he was so happy that finally people could sustain his presence. So in the grooming phase, if anyone discloses that while they're dating you, that they've studied you, that they've stalked you, take that as a red flag and just run. Just get the heck out of Dodge and run your fastest sprint that you could ever run, please, and get away from them. The third thing that I experienced with my sociopath covert narc is he was married, right? And he reached out to me in 2009. Well, we met each other in 2009 to 2012. We worked at the same hospital. In 2015, he reached out to me telling me that he was separated and that he had had his own place. In 2016, reached out to me and said that he was filing. So keep in mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm taking someone's word for what they're saying because I am an honest person. So my natural mindset is, if I'm a good person, I'm an honest person, I'm putting my best foot forward, why wouldn't you? Here again, know that somebody who does this is not a bad person. They haven't exercised bad decision making. They're simply being manipulated. They're manipulated. They're under a huge emotional manipulation game to this covert narcissist sociopath. So friends, families, loved ones, it's not very flattering or nice for you to judge your family member or say things like, well, first of all, I would never interact with anyone who's married. You don't know. You've never been there. You haven't gotten to that aspect in your life. You're like 10, 12, 8 years younger than me. So take a sip of your wine and chill, because I can tell you right now, honey, you haven't even begun to get there. And when you do, and shit gets tough and life gets hard, then I want you to come and sit down with me and stare me in the face and say, well, I would never do anything. You never say never, okay? Because I would always say that I would never do this, I would never do that. I was manipulated. I am not a person of that to engage in infidelity. I don't support it. I don't condone it. It's not my cup of tea. It's not the way I wanted my life to pan out. It's not the relationship I wanted. It wasn't ideal. It's simply that this person sought me out, knew that I was one to help others and truly care about the well-being of other people, and utilized that only to his benefit. So I was coerced into believing that he was this good person when in all actuality he wasn't. And it wasn't until I was out of that, so to speak, trance that I refer to several times in my past videos, that I was able to take a step back and truly regather my thoughts and realize what I had just been through. A lot of the time, victims are not going to know what the hell they're in, what the hell they're going through. They're going to feel like they're in a dead-end situation. There were numerous times I would talk to my covert narc / sociopath, and I remember even towards the end, like right by around August, I even told him one day, I said, I feel like we didn't even have a conversation. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Because the diversion tactics that the manipulator, covert narc / sociopath utilizes is so good. They're so good at their con. If you've never been conned either by an individual, you should not speak or defame another person. You should not slander that person. I'm sorry, I'm back. You should not slander that person or have an opinion because you have no clue whatsoever what that's like. So until you've been conned by a true con artist, then you really don't have the experience to speak of. So anyway, I was manipulated into believing what he was telling me. He sought me out by knowing that I was a good person, and he asked for help. So that's what initiated our entire friendship, which eventually evolved into a relationship that he asked me to be in. He asked me to be his girlfriend. He promised me that we would be together. And then he showed up. That's the thing. Your sociopath covert narc is going to continuously show up. So friends and family, when judging, you need to take that into account too. This person isn't just so eloquently or conveniently seeking out this attention. This other person is showing up at every angle. If you're in a relationship and your man's showing up, don't fancy that. Don't you think you're going to be happy? Exactly. And nobody judges you for that, so don't judge others for that. Don't have an opinion. It's best not to voice it until you've been through that situation. Truly, truly been through a situation, even remotely close. Otherwise, I advise people to keep their opinions to themselves unless they're asked, and or judgments to themselves. Because if a family or a friend, if a family member or a friend is asking you for advice or asking of your opinion, voice your opinion by all means. Do not be quick to judge. Judgment can cause somebody to push themselves over the edge. If you're dealing especially with a highly sensitive individual who has no sense of self-worth or value, isn't seeking any type of recovery for codependency, and then you escalate that issue by interjecting your opinion about them and defame them or put them down, which is only going to in turn hurt them more. Some people aren't strong enough. You know, some people cannot sustain things of that nature. They just can't go through it. And so I don't advise anyone to take on that opinion of judgment. So anyway, my covert narc sociopath sought me out in 2009, 2012, recommunicated with me in 2015 when he made up this entire story about there being a separation. I have had confirmation, clear, abundant confirmation from a family member within their family unit that there has never even been an argument to stem a separation. Well, my sociopath covert narc, he even went as far as making up an assistant manager's name of an apartment complex in a town in the city which they reside not too far from mine. So here again, in the grooming phase, you will be fed whatever information the covert narc / sociopath believes that you, friends and family, dear loved ones, deserve. Other than that, it's all a crock of crap. You'll find that when you start to get to the point where you can no longer sustain what is going on, that's when your sociopath covert narc is more apt to like pull out and just abandon the relationship. That's the discard. That's when you're no longer going to matter, and it's as if you never mattered to begin with. They're very dismissive in nature. They don't care. They have no guilt and no remorse. They have no empathy. So they don't have a connection or an investment the way that you do. And that's the reason why I am making this, I started my blog, is because I want to make women aware, because it is so debilitating and degrading to a woman to be taken advantage of this way, especially when you have a child, you have other people's lives involved, and you voice that through and through. I voiced it to my person through and through. Oh, yet, mind you, the studying, he knew. So he said, you know, you haven't had a good streak in your past relationships. Here again, I was posting all of that on Facebook. Beware of fake book. Post only that of which you need to, that is necessary to make you who you are. So I'm not saying abandon Facebook and don't be a Facebook, person. I'm a Facebook guru. I just pose myself. I'm now arming myself with this knowledge that I perceive myself to have it all together. So the difference there exists so that people don't know that I'm constantly struggling and failing and hurting. No, I don't want to give that impression anymore, or that things are so difficult, or that I'm struggling through this relationship or struggling through this family issue or whatever. I just keep it on the up and up, like I said earlier, because on the up and up, there's no question, you know, like, I'm so happy, happy, hee hee. So whatever. But that's my advice in pertaining to the grooming from the sociopath and covert narc. That's my experience. I can't speak of, you know, anyone else's situation. I do apologize if you're going through this now. If you feel as if you've been through something like this and you're still confused as to what you've just come out of, it's very easy to constantly feel confused and at a dead end. My advice to you would be seek all the viable resources that are free online that you can. Watch as many YouTube videos as you can. Constantly inform yourself. Keep your mind fresh of these different manipulation tactics that the sociopath covert narc is going to use against you, so that you're highly aware of who these people are, how they mentally operate, and what to look for. When you're armed with that information, you're more apt to staying away from those types of people and get help. Heal from within. Try plugging into the resources I'm going to post on my website. Try utilizing those resources. Listen to audiobooks. Listen to more videos. I listened to YouTube at the beginning when I first discovered everything and who and how this person was identifiable. I was listening to every single YouTube video anybody could give me. Like every single person that would put on YouTube, sociopath, covert narc. Because my initial Google search, YouTube family, was, let me tell you this, it was crazy. How to not feel so confused with your boyfriend when you two are in love. And there you go. Everything populated on the news threads that were pertaining to sociopaths, covert narcissists, sociopath, emotional manipulator, da-da-da-da-da. I went to the video section on Google, right underneath the search engine, all images, video, web, whatever, and I tapped video, and oh, holy crud. And then I just started, you know, arming myself. That's what I told myself is I need to learn about this so that I know and I don't ever do this to myself or my child or anyone else in my life in my future. I don't go through this again, because it was very, very, very difficult. And I do want to make it very clear that intelligent people are typically the better targets for sociopath covert narcs, because they are so highly intellectual. But if they're insecure, if they're lacking in self-love, if their self-value and self-worth is not there, that's how the manipulator / covert narc / sociopath gains ground. And that's how they gain more power in the situation. So that's why, that's why I talk about my experience in terms of Facebook. And that's such an integral part of the grooming that I experienced, because I know without a shadow of a doubt now, looking back, I mean, I even remember in 2010, his second baby girl was born. And I remember I saw him at the hospital, and for the first several months after she was born, he was wearing his wedding band. And then in like 2011, 2012, as it got closer to me, ending my employment there, I remember I saw him one day in the hall, and I said, "Oh, you're married, you're not married anymore." And he said, "Well, we're just going through some hard time, da-da-da. We're at a rough patch." So that too was part of the grooming. And little did I know, it was all being set up for eventually when he sought me out. My covert narc sociopath did not have very much self-esteem himself either. He was very insecure. He was very self-conscientious. He didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe anybody loved him. He didn't believe that love was even a possibility. But our relationship was very one-sided. It was always me feeding him, me helping him, me encouraging him, me being there for him. And that's another red flag. If you're involved in a situation like that, there's no balance. You're always having to give. it's not a healthy relationship. That person's taking from you and you're not gaining anything from that situation. Therefore, in my opinion, get the heck out of Dodge, run as fast as you can, the fastest sprint you've ever ran in your life, whatever it takes. Get out. Trust me, it'll be well worth it in the end. I'm going to go on later on to go ahead and post some other videos further on. But for now, I just want to say I love you guys. Hang in there. It'll get better. It will. It works if we work it, so let's worth it. I don't even know what I said. I was thinking of 28 Days. It's one of my favorite shows. It works if you work it, it's worth it. That's what he says. That's what Daniel says in the rehab. So, yeah, just hang in there. Be optimistic. Try and be positive. Laugh as much as you can. Listen to Bernie Mac. Listen to Kevin Hart. He's another good comedian. I listen to him on Pandora sometimes, but he's on Netflix as well. And always try to just, liberate yourself in that sense. Laughter is a good healing mechanism. Laughter will pull you out of anything. So if you have a family member that helps you laugh or exaggerates things, for entertainment issues, utilize that person. Who cares? Like, call them up, say, hey, I'm having a crappy day. I need you. I'm sure when you reach out, people are more apt to being there and understanding. So hang in there, do the work, please. Seek the healing first. It's all about the healing. It sucks. Healing sucks. I'm going through it. It's hard. It sucks. It's time consuming. It takes time. Do things in weekly increments. Please don't forget, I do everything in weekly increments. Check in with yourself at the end of the week. Stay close to people who love you. Stay close to your support system. Do not abandon your parents. Do not abandon whoever, your best friend, whomever you have there that's going to back you, and know at the end of the day that regardless of what you do, they're there for you. Do not turn your back on those people. And, try and work through the healing process as best as you can. Sometimes I have to do, within the week even, I have to chunk it. I have to break it down and utilize the chunking mechanism for students, and I have to do, okay, 2 days I can sustain this. And sometimes I find myself pushing it to the back of my mind, but it's not healthy, because then life and the world gets the best of you and your mindset starts to slip away. So my advice is just to constantly arm yourself with the information. I went 60 days straight, constant, tuning into the videos, reading the literature, seeking articles, listening to Lisa Romano, listening to Ross Rosenberg. I still do it, so hang in there. It'll get better, I promise. Please reach out to me. Anyone who has any comments to this video about grooming, any objections you may have, know that I'm here for you. I love you guys. I'm praying for everyone. Namaste, and thanks for tuning in today. Have a great day. If you will, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me to my website, thrivingwhilesurvivingch.com, and check out my blog. Have a great day. Take care. Namaste. Bye.